Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. First question, which is on everyone's lips, is were you actually out of the country for all 4 years?
So, first of all, I want to say thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Victoria, for hosting me tonight. And probably you said my name right, but not all the way as it should be. Atudo Nyang. Atudo Nyang. It's the name of a bull, or rather steer. So Nicholas Atudo Nyang, the current Deputy Governor of West Pokot. And Victoria asked a very important question, which is, have you been away all these 4 years? And of course not. It could be true I was not home most of the time, or I wasn't physically present in Kapenguria most of the time for the 4 years, but I never abdicated the responsibility of being a deputy governor.
Yeah, okay, Doctor, look, where have you been?
So I've been where I was before I became the deputy governor. And I came into the politics of West Pokot 2017. I mean, a little bit earlier before that. But 2017 is when I was requested by the leadership and the community at the time to help Professor John Lonyangapuo, whom you've hosted in this show before. We've been watching, a great show, to be the running mate at the time. And so I was practicing medicine in the United States. And the community, the elders, and the professor himself asked me to come and help be the running mate, and also as the deputy governor, help him to win the election at the time. And so we won. And we worked together as well for a few days or a few years very well. Brought so many changes that we are still very proud about. And at some point, I went back to the United States.
So at what point exactly, because you're elected on the joint ticket, when did you actually leave and why? Because it looks like there was a conflict of interest. You should have been about the business of the people of West Pokot.
And I've always been about that.
Yeah, but from far away.
I think probably Kenyans learned from me as well before even COVID came that you can do so much, like working from home. And you've also said
But this particular position does not call for remote working. You have to be within the county, honestly speaking.
You've hosted my boss at some point in this show, and he gave you all the reasons that he thought it was wise for the working arrangement that we had at the time. And looking at it, it was more profitable or more beneficial to the people of West Pokot, with me not being in the county and still playing my role or running the duties that are supposed to be of a deputy governor.
And were you still getting a salary during that time?
That's for sure, no.
So you were essentially volunteering for your county?
No. I would never say volunteering, because this is a responsibility. And the office of a deputy governor is a constitutional office. And it's an oath of office you take. It's a political office as well. It's a political position that the people entrust the governor, together with the deputy governor, with their aspirations, and they hope with their leadership they can achieve some few things that maybe the previous leadership did not achieve.
But tell me something, Doctor. Were the priorities in the U.S. more than they were in West Pokot?
I would say at no point. The thing is, I was more beneficial to the county. I was more beneficial to the people of West Pokot in that arrangement that we had at the time. And I would say probably the deputy governor that has done much more for his or her county, probably arguably, I cannot be 100% sure, than most of other deputy governors. Oh. And the cost of running my office, the office of the deputy governor of West Pokot, I think is the lowest or the cheapest of all the offices of deputy governors in the entire republic.
That may well be, but what did you actually do? Because the role of the deputy governor is not very clear in the Constitution or the County Government Act, but whatever is delegated to you by the governor is pretty much what you do. But you weren't around to be delegated to. And I guess that is the issue here. In terms of how did you serve the people of West Pokot? Did you come up with any county plans, any policies, implementation, budget?
Yes, and I'll go step by step. So there's been this movement in Kenya where they say, punguza mzigo. We have too many offices, too many salaried employees. And I think West Pokot actually showed a better way of doing that. When I took the office of being the deputy governor, we had a lot of things to do with a limited budget, of course. The salary of deputy governor, since I wasn't earning, that gave us a room to hire more people, to hire more disadvantaged youth, people with disability, and the salary of a deputy governor can actually hire up to about 30 extra people. Now, if you look at the cost of running the office of a deputy governor, most of the counties will run with about 50 million or maybe more, 100 million, probably more. But the people of West Pokot saw, including us, the leaders, we saw the priority that we had, or we still have at this time, is increasing the bursary fund so that we can have more people going to school.
Okay, Doctor, let me ask you this. Texas is obviously your base.
I would say West Pokot is my base.
No.
It is where your heart is. That's your base.
If you were elected governor, would you still be based in Texas, operating out of Texas?
Absolutely not. And this is the difference between a deputy and the boss. And the deputy, either the deputy of anything, is to get or perform duties delegated to him or her by the boss.
So is it easier for a deputy to abscond duties, is what you're saying, the governor?
I did abscond duties at any time. And at no time was I asked something by my governor or the boss or a duty to perform that I did not perform. I can say that 100%.
By the way, the governor was very complimentary of you when he came on the bench, and he said, my deputy is busy fundraising and getting money for the county. But my question is, does anybody know who you are? I mean, you walked in here, nobody recognized you.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows you.
And that's why sometimes the people who do so much or do some things here and there, we're not quick to say, here I am, and look at me, I've done this and this. It's because we care about the business of the people. But I'm born and raised in West Pokot, went to high schools in West Pokot, was able to achieve a good grade to get to the University of Nairobi, did a Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery at the time, and proceeded to the United States to further my studies still on medicine. So by profession, I'm a physician, yes, but more so considered myself a community leader. And as you just said when you're introducing me, the newly crowned spokesman of the Pokot people.
Yeah. Doctor, why don't you just stick to what you're good at? I mean, politics may not be for you, huh?
You actually had an option to resign. And you
resigning, and that's like an abdication to me.
As opposed to what you did for the last 4 years? How is that different?
Because being elected is a contract. Being elected as a deputy is a contract between you and the boss and you and the people. And there are two ways.
The voters handed their power over to you to serve them.
Yes. And there is a way of looking at it. Were the people satisfied that I was doing the best that I could do for them? Did the people realize the sacrifice that I'm doing as the deputy governor? And I think beyond any reasonable doubt, they're still happy, and they were happy, and they're still happy with me. If they were not, this being a constitutional office, they had all the available procedures or legal ways of removing a deputy governor. But have you heard at any point a motion of impeachment of the deputy governor of West Pokot?
Okay.
But you also had an option to resign. We saw that happen with the Nairobi DG.
Resigning.
So you had the option to resign.
I would say resigning is abdication. And as long as you're still working for the people and doing good things and bringing meaningful development and changes to the
Well, many could beg to differ.
Yeah, and what is your biggest beef, for lack of a better word, with the governor? What is it?
I have no beef with him at all. And I've been very respectful. We've had a very good relationship throughout the years. The fact that we're probably in different parties right now, that is political. And I would not say anything negative about any Pokot leader this time, because I'm very respectful of them. The Senator of West Pokot, the Governor of West Pokot, they have been very good leaders.
When's the last time you were in West Pokot?
Yes, 2 days ago.
Does anyone know you there?
Of course they know me. They know me.
Or are you in touch with the people? The understanding would be you understand your county so well in terms of the needs. And you spoke earlier about this. Education is such a huge problem in your county. Do you know how many schools are there? How many schools are needed? You know, some of those gaps within your county.
I know, and I share the responsibility of trying to bring changes. As an elected leader, also at personal level, trying to encourage people to go to school, sometimes even directly paying for people's school fees. And like I gave you a very good policy change that we brought, we increased the bursary fund to more than 400 million, which I don't think there's any other county that has allocated so much bursary.
If only you were there to enjoy that.
Well,
because,
and also represented what was laid out in Chapter 6 of what a state officer should actually be doing.
And if I had broken any of those, you can be sure that...
You're actually in contravention of quite a few of them.
You can be sure if there's checks and balances. If I had broken any of those, well, they should be, like any other citizen, have the due process of seeing exactly what happened.
Yeah. Deputy Governor, when do you quit in America? When do you quit your job and come back full-time?
Now...
or you're going to keep one foot in the Texas?
You saw I was crowned 2 days ago as the spokesman of Pokot community. That comes with new responsibility. And that comes also with the responsibility of listening to them, maybe listening to them more often than I used to do. So it's very likely that I'll be more around and I'll be there to listen to them and to speak for them.
Is philanthropy an option for you instead of public office?
No, not at all.
And probably give it to someone who's more dedicated?
And I still consider myself very dedicated to the service of the people.
Yeah.
Because I would have the option of saying, well, I'm not going to do it. But even the leadership and the elders themselves, they still see me. And for some reason, they said, well, we think you're the better fit to be a spokesman at this time. And I accepted that responsibility.
And you think you can beat Lonyangapur?
Politics aside, like I said, the local politics will stop at the border of West Pokot. I have very respectful of all the leaders of West Pokot, including up to East Pokot, Honorable Kamket and other leaders from there. They've done great work from
We're out of time.
where they've come from, and I think
Thank you so much,
we're going to
Dr.
stop
Harry.
local politics.
All right.
Yeah, we're out
Dr.
of time.
Tudanyang, we wish you all the very best when you go back to Texas. And when you decide to come back home, let us know.
I'm home. I'm here right now. Thank you so much for having me.
The accent says you're still in Texas. That's Dr. Tudanyang. He's Deputy Governor, believe it or not, of West Pokot. You've probably seen him right now for the very first time. We have. Now he's running against his boss in West Pokot for governor. Good luck to him.